Hey folks, Farhan Akil here from GeeksCreative, and welcome to another episode about MagicLeap with Unity3D. And in this video, we are going to learn how we can trigger different animations using gesture controls. And the way we are going to fire gesture controls is through this simulator. And you can see that I have this finger and I have this thumb, so I can fire different gestures, and it will going to start a new animation. Also, it will going to show that what kind of a gesture it has been implemented on different gesture controls, and we are going to show different gestures using these sprites, one for the left hand and other for the right hand. Also, we are going to use a text to indicate what kind of a gesture currently a particular hand has. So let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to start a brand new project from scratch, and to do that you can just go to your launchpad and launch Unity, and when it gets load up, so what you can do, you can just click on new. I'm going to name it as controlling animations using gestures, and I don't want any analytics, and the template would be MagicLeap. Just make sure you have all these things set up, like the project name, and the template should be MagicLeap, so it will going to enable our camera to render on the MagicLeap simulator or the devices. So the project is loaded, and the first thing you would need to do is switch your platform from PC to Lumin OS. And to do that, you can just go to your build settings and you can click on Lumin OS. You can just give it an SDK path, and I can find that using the hard drive and users Farhan under the MagicLeap. Here it is, MLSDK version 11.0, 0.11.0, and click on choose. Okay, and just click on switch platform. So the platform has been switched, and let's see what we got. So we got these errors. These are technical preview errors. The next thing we would do is we are going to import that package, like the MagicLeap SDK and the MagicLeap Unity package that comes with the package manager. So we can use one of those scripts, like the gestures, that will going to allow us to detect what kind of a gesture we want to use in our simulator or in our game. So let's just click on package manager. So the package manager has loaded up and it is asking for a code. Let's just click on continue. It will going to send me a code. MagicLeap, here's your code. Here's the code, and just click on continue. Okay, just click on MagicLeap Unity package and open folder, and just double click it. If you remember, the last time what I did was just drag my package to this asset folder. Just make sure that everything is checked, like just root is checked, and just click on import. And you'll need to make sure that this project actually runs on the simulator so that you can proceed. Otherwise, we will have to look at if there is any problem running this package in the simulator. Now we can just quit that and start the remote so that we can start the simulator. So the remote has been loaded, and we can just click on start simulator to start the simulator, of course. And if you remember that we have created a room, so we are going to use that room in our simulator. Just click on okay, the permission, just allow load virtual room, and we create this room in one of the previous videos. So large room modified will be the room we are going to use in this video. And to play this game or this app on the simulator, what you will need to do is click on MagicLeap, enable 0 iteration. So it will going to import some MagicLeap assemblies in your project, and it imported, and then it requires a restart. Just click on restart, and this restart is mandatory whenever you you have the simulator on and you restart the Unity, or in case whenever you start Unity again and you want to play your game in the simulator, you will have to click on enable zero iteration. Now the Unity has been restarted. What we can do is we can just go to this example, scenes, gestures, for just a reference, and we have this simulator on. We can just test. We can just move around and click on play. It should work. And let's just open up the remote. So it's working. Yes. Okay, so we are ready to proceed with our custom code and with our custom scripts. Now the next thing we will do is create a new scene. What I can do is I can just command N to start a new scene, and I don't need this camera. We are going to create our own camera, and everything we are going to do from scratch. Okay, just click on Control S or Command S if you're in Mac, and click on this scenes, custom gestures, or custom animations, or custom whatever you want. Okay, click on save. Now there are a few things that we need from this gesture example. The first thing is the camera, the second thing is the canvas, a game object, that is a text game object, and fourth is the image. So for a shorthand, what we can do is we can just go to this MagicLeap folder under examples, scenes, and gestures. Let's just copy both of these game objects and paste it in our custom gesture scene. We're not going to use all of them, but we are going to filter out some things that we might need. The first thing is this gesture example. It has these two additional components that we don't need. We're not going to use these built-in gestures. Let's just delete this. And as we have just deleted the gestures game object, we don't need these gesture example as well. And we don't need this component as well. We just need this gesture component, and under track gesture just make sure that everything is selected. If you can just click on everything, it will going to select all the gestures that are available. We don't need this content game object, so we can just get rid of this. Just click on delete and move all these game objects outside this rendering game object. It is not necessary. Okay, we have this camera, a directional light. This head pose canvas has a component that we might need, but we are going to change some of its properties. For example, the first one is the position lerp speed. We are going to set it to 10, and the rotation lerp speed will also be 10. So it will going to lerp fast in front of our main camera. Let's just click on save and make sure it's working in the simulator. Just click on play. Okay, so scale. Now just click on the simulator. This is the simulator. So let's just rotate your head, and you can see that we have this game object working, but currently it is showing some amount of text, and I think there should be a game object that has a component. This is a game object, let's test status. And yes, we don't need this gesture confidence script. We are going to create things on our own. Okay, now this head pose canvas has a text game object, and we are going to position that game object in the center. Now let's create two more game objects that will be images. Now under the UI you have this option to create an image. That image, let's just rename this as left hand gesture image. Oh, I forgot an E. The second one will be, I just duplicated that using the command D as a shorthand method. I'm going to rename it as right hand gesture image, and there's a small L, it's capital L. Okay, let's just scale it down to 0.01 on the X, 0.01 on the Y, and make sure that let's just copy its component and paste it right here. Okay, we don't need that width, so we are going to make it 125 width and 125 height. Let's just position it somewhere on the top and on the top. Oh, sorry. Okay, so these images have been set up. Let's just click on play to see whether these images shows up in the simulator, because as you can see, we cannot see it right here. Just open up the remote and you can see that we have these two images in the simulator. Now the next part is setting up an animator that will going to animate these images depending on which gesture has been detected. And to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an animator folder to hold all the animators, and I'm going to create an animator controller, create animator controller, and I'm going to call it as hand images, and I'm going to place this controller in both of these game objects. So hand images. Now to create an animation like quickly, what we can do is we can just go to this animation tab and click on create. It's going to create an animation. Let's just name it as pinch. The first animation we're going to create is for the pinch gesture. Create a new clip. The second one will be for the thumb, and the third one will be for the fist. Okay, so we are going to show different animations depending on these gestures. The third one is fist. So we have these fists. Let's just double click on animator, and we don't want this pitch to be the default transition, so what I'm going to do is let's just drag this. Let's just right click, create state, and empty. We want this empty state to be the default state, so it doesn't have any motion, and I'm going to rename it as default, and right click, set as layer default state. So whenever the game gets played, this state, default state, will be the default one that we're going to keep animating, and it doesn't have any motion, so our game object will not animate. It can also be used to indicate that there is no gesture that is currently being detected. The next thing is we will create a few triggers to trigger these states depending on the gesture. Now to do that, what I can do is I can just click on plus and trigger, and let's just name this trigger as pinch. For the pinch animation, I'm going to create two more. The second one will be for the thumb, and the third one will be for the fist. Let's just set up these states, and to do that, click on any state, right click, make transition, and you set few transitions to all of these animation states. The second one will be from state to thumb. The third one will be from any state to fist, and set these conditions under this arrow. Let's just set its condition that this condition will be true, like from any state an animator can go from any state to pinch if we trigger the pinch condition. The second one will be the thumb, and the thumb will be played if we trigger the thumb. The third one will be the fist, and it's going to be triggered when we trigger the fist. Now we have set up these animator state. Let's just create few animations And to do that, just click on this record button, and under this left hand gesture image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a keyframe 124 and 124, and on the first second what I'm going to do, or on the 30 second, let's just make it for 30 second, it will be 80 by 80, so it will be small when we fist, like when you punch someone it gets small, its face gets small. So we are going to do the same, and on the first at the end of the first second, what we want it to be on the default size. So if we play it, you can see that the animation is playing. Only the size delta. And one thing more, when you're dealing with animations and you have one single animation on different game objects, you need to make sure that you don't have any other property than size delta. If you have a position, then there will be a problem that both of the game objects will be on the same position, because you have this animation that is changing the position of an individual game object. So you need to make sure that this doesn't happen. The second one will be the pinch, and you can see that the pinch animation is empty. What we can do is we can just squeeze it up, and to do that, let's just click on record button as it is recording, and add a property rect transform size delta. And what we can do is on the 30th frame we can just set its width to 80. If we play the animation, you can see that it is going down and up. The third animation is a thumb, and for the thumb animation what we are going to do is we are going to rotate this game object, and what we can do is rotate, and the first rotation is okay, and on the 13th frame what I want it to be 360. 360. Okay, if we play it, oh, we forgot to press this record button, so it will be 360. If we play it, you can see that it's rotating. Okay, so we have these three animations ready. We can now dive into the code, and we got an error. These are technical preview bugs. Now we can jump right into the coding part, and the first thing we are going to do is we are going to create a game object, and we are going to attach a script. Let's just rename this game object as gesture manager, and we are going to add a component, and we can just name our new script as gesture manager. It's going to give us an option to create a new script. Let's create new script. Language will be C#, and click on create and add. The only reason why I don't like this way is because when it creates a script, it puts this script into the default assets folder, and I want to keep my project organized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder for this gesture manager script, and I'm going to put this script into that folder. Let it load the script. So now the script is loaded, and let's just create a folder for the scripts, all the scripts, that is the script, and just drag this script into this script folder. So the script has been loaded, and before we can add any code that refer a MagicLeap class, what we need to do is we need to add an assembly reference to it, and we can using Unity engine .experimental.xr.MagicLeap. Even though they have an option to just import a MagicLeap class, but we are going to do this one, Unity engine.experimental.xr.MagicLeap. And Let's just remove this line of comment. We don't need that. The first thing we are going to create is we are going to create a dictionary that will have a key value pair of string as the name of those gestures, and the value will be the sprite. So the sprites will represent any gestures that has been detected. And to create a dictionary, what I'm going to do is I'm going to name it as dictionary string for the key and sprite for the value. I'm going to name it as gesture images, and I'm going to set it to new gesture dictionary. As it is a private, so we are going to make it a property using the quick fix. That's a good tool in the Visual Studio. Now we would also need 3 references, the 2 for the images and 1 for the text. So public image and left hand gesture image. The second one will be for public image right hand gesture image. You can see that it is giving me a squiggly line, that is a red line showing that these are in error. And how we can fix it, we can just write using unityengine.ui unityengine.ui. That's going to make these errors go away. The third one will be a text, so text, and let's just name it as gesture indicator text. So we have this reference to the gesture image dictionary and the 3 game objects that will be referenced on runtime. Now if we click on gesture manager, what we can see is we have 3 references. The first one is the gesture image, the second is the right hand gesture image, the third one is a gesture indicator. It doesn't have any space, so it means that we have some problem. We have a right hand. Well, I always take care of the naming conventions. So the right hand gesture image, so let's just give it this reference. If we expand the head post canvas, what we can see is we have this text status to text. The left hand will be the left hand gesture image, the right hand will be the right hand gesture image. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to populate this dictionary, because we have an empty dictionary right now. And what we are going to do is we are going to create a resource folder, have some images for all these gestures, and populate those gestures in this dictionary. And the way we can do that is, first of all, go to Unity, and on the assets, click on create folder, and let's just name it as resources. Resources is a folder that you can load a few resources on runtime using the code, and some sort of videos, MP4, anything you can load up using the resource folders. And I need few resource images, so what I can do for now is go to this example, and under the texture, let's just copy these textures for, let's just copy this one as well. Okay, reveal in Finder. I'm going to copy these textures in the resource folder as well, so that I can refer these images on runtime. Okay, so let's click on kind for me to sort out things easily. C thumb, I'm going to copy this using Command C and close it, and I'm going to paste it in the resource folder, just reveal in Finder. Under the resource folder, I'm going to paste this, and for the naming conventions, for being on the safe side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename these images the same way a gesture is recognized. So a finger gesture will be tracked using the finger, this one. It will show a finger to string, and fist, L, OK, K small, open handback, pinch, thumb. As we currently don't have any image for the no hand, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a no hand. Okay, this blue image, like the C image, well, it's a cool image. We are going to set this up as no hand, and just close that. It's going to load up the sprites in the resource folder, and what we can do is we can select all and change its texture type from default to sprite 2D, because we are going to refer these images to these image game objects on runtime. So change its property to 512 and click on apply. So these images have been set. We can just test it by using the no sprite, and yes, it's working. You can just click on Control Z so that our image game objects will be empty on runtime, and then they will be referred through the code. Now open up Visual Studio. Now we were about to populate this dictionary, that is the gesture image, and to do that we can use a method name that is resources.loadAll, and it requires a type, so we are going to name it as let's just create an empty array, and it will be of type sprite, images, and I'm going to load all the images from this particular resource folder, and it's going to have a resources.loadAll. It will ask for a type. The type that we want to load is a sprite, and the folder as sprite. Now we didn't really organize our things. Now let's just go into the Unity. We didn't organize our things in the resource folder. As you can see, our root resource folder has all these images, and that's not a good thing. So what I will do is I'm going to create a folder and name it as gesture images, and I'm going to place all these images in this folder. Well, that is just for organizing things. I don't want to mess up things too much, and I'm going to refer it gesture images and backslash. Otherwise, what I could have done is I could have just left it empty, and it would have loaded all the sprites from the resource root folder into these images. Now what I'm going to do in the next steps, I'm going to start a for loop, and it will going to start from 0 to all the way to images.length, images.length, and I++. What it will going to do, it will going to populate this dictionary according to the name of this images index. What we can do is gesture image, and inside this gesture image we are going to set up a new string, and that string will be this images index dot name equals to images. And the next thing it will going to do is under this dictionary it will going to iterate through all the images component inside this variable, and it will going to refer the index name, and it will going to set its sprite to that dictionary. Now we can make sure that it is actually working, that our gesture image is not empty, and the way we can do that is using the debug log function. And what we are going to do is we are going to let's just print out the gesture image dot count, okay, so that we will be sure that how many gestures that we have inside this dictionary. So we got this error. Let's just click on clear and click on play. The console 0. This is interesting. This is interesting that we have a 0 as the count. Well, what is the thing that we did wrong? Let's check the code. Images. Okay, well, this is a problem. The folder name was not correct. Let's just click on play again. Now you can see that we have 9 gestures or 9 entries in the gesture image dictionary, and that works fine. So the problem we got was that this folder name was not correct in the editor. We typed gesture images right here, and here it was gesture image. Okay, so the problem was solved. Now the next thing is we want to make sure that our dictionary gives a sprite to these 2 game objects, and the way we can do that is let's just create a new method that we're going to return a string, because we want string to be in this gesture image as it is a key. And get, let's just name this method as get gesture hand image, and it would need 2 parameters. The first one is the game object itself. Let's just name it as hand, and the second one will be the type of gesture that has been detected, and that will be gesture type, that ML gesture type, and let's just name it as type. Okay, we are just going to return is this type dot toString. Okay, and the reason why we have done this is because of 3 conditions, like the pinch, thumb, or fist. We are going to trigger animations as well. Otherwise, we are just going to return this type that will be set in this update, this gesture image type, this one, and it's going to set a sprite on that game object, either the left hand or the right hand. Okay, now I'm going to create a switch condition, and it will going to have under type, and first one is a case ML gesture type. Let's just recall, it was either fist, break, default. Well, I totally forgot which gesture we listed, so let's just go into Unity and check out the animator. We got pinch, thumb, and fist. So fist, second one will be pinch, case dot pinch, break. Third one will be thumb, break. Okay, now if it's a fist, what we want is we want to trigger an animator state, and to do that what we can do is we can just dot hand dot get component animator dot set trigger will be this type dot toString. Okay, and we are going to do the same thing over here and the same thing over here. Okay, so the method has been set up. Now the next thing we can do is we can just for the housekeeping, or just to make sure we don't get any error, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we have an entry in the dictionary, otherwise the code won't run. So the way I can do that is by launching an if statement. If the gesture image dot count is not equals to 0. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to retrieve some sprites from the dictionary, and for doing that we are going to use this method. And to do that, let's just click on left hand gesture image dot sprite will be equals to not dictionary, it will be gesture image, and inside the text, what I'm going to give is get gesture hand image, because it will going to return a string, but it requires two parameters. The first one is the hand, that you're going to give left hand gesture image dot game object. The second one is the type of gesture that is currently being detected, and as we are in the left hand, so we can access its gesture using a class called MLHands. So MLHands detect the gesture for both of the hands, so we want a static gesture of the left hand. Okay, now we're going to do the same for right hand gesture image dot sprite will be equals to get gesture image, and inside of that we are going to give it the method name get gesture image hand. It requires two things: right hand image dot game object, and second one is the currently detected gesture on the right hand, so MLHands dot right dot static gesture. And you would have a conflict with my thinking, is that why did I even do this method, or why did I do that? I could have just done this like toString and would have gone through the dictionary like this gesture image and retrieve a sprite. Now the reason why I did that is because depending on three conditions, like if it's a fist, pinch, or thumb, I want to trigger some animations as well. So that is the reason why I did that. Now let's just remove this space and it should work. We should play the game. Let's minimize this Visual Studio and go to Unity. And do we have the simulator start? Yeah, we don't have the room. So load virtual room, large room modified, and just click on play. It should have those images pop up in the left hand or the right hand. As we currently don't have any gesture detected if it's a no hand, so it should show the blue image. Okay. Alright, so you can see that we have these two images, like on the left hand and on the right hand we don't have any gesture, and in the example, the gesture example, we have marked to detect the no hand as well. So not the Visual Studio, I want the simulator. So you can see that I'm getting this no hand image on both of my hands. Now if I trigger a gesture, let's just pinch, so you can see that I have this pinch, and it is also animating itself as well, so it's the left hand pinch. And if I change the right hand gesture as well, this is the fist, you can see that I'm animating the fist as well. This is the right hand fist and the left hand pinch. I can change the animation as well with this. You can see that I have just changed this left hand gesture to fist, and it has changed its transition too. Now the third thing is this confidence or the text game object. We haven't done anything on it yet, so let's just do that. Open up Visual Studio. The third one is the gesture text indicator, and we are just going to write in a string format. So gesture indicator text.text equals to string.format, and inside the text I'm going to write down left hand has 0 gesture with 1 confidence and \n. The next thing is right hand has 2 gesture with 3 confidence. Okay, and just put a comma to indicate the 0. That is the ML hand dot left dot static gesture. This will going to return the currently active gesture. The second one will be dot toString. No, I don't need the toString probably. MLHands dot left dot, instead of the static gesture, what we are going to get is we are going to get the confidence, gesture confidence. Okay, this is a property that we have for the gesture confidence. The third one will be MLHands dot right dot static gesture, and the fourth one, this is the fourth index, it will be MLHands dot right dot get our confidence, gesture confidence. Okay, so we don't have any error. Let's just go into Unity. Now click on play. Let's see what text we get. Now format exception input string was not in the correct format, so let's click on clear and try that again. What? Yeah. And this was the issue. Okay. This was the issue, that we have this 0, we didn't close this 1. Okay, so this was the problem. This was the problem. It should work now. Okay, click on play. It should work now. Sometimes the semicolon gives you a nightmare. That's all I have to say about this one. I missed the semicolon, or I missed a bracket, and that bracket didn't allow me to go forward and play the game. Do I have this again? No, I don't have this again, and I have this text, left hand has fist gesture with 1 confidence. Let's just open up in the simulator. I don't have this. Okay, so both have this fist gesture, and if I press no hand, you can see that I have this no hand. Alright, and this finger, okay, pinch or L, C, and it's working. So in this video was a bit long as compared to the previous one, and we got bugs as well in this video. The first one was a string format, in which I forgot like this one bracket, and it didn't allow me to show the text on this text game object. We use resources.load as well to populate the dictionary on runtime, and we copied few resources from the examples folder that comes with the MagicLeap package manager, and we imported that in the resource folder. We also got an issue when we had a misspelling in the resource folder, and it didn't allow me to access this one, as it was a gesture image, and in the code I wrote a gesture images. So we fixed that as well. So currently we are really successful and able to firing different animations on different gestures. Okay, so this was it for this video. If you like it, please do comment, and I really appreciate feedbacks from you guys. The previous videos are doing good, and I'm thankful to you guys as well for for all the views and all the things. I'm continuously going to upload more stuff as well. Just make sure if I do any mistake, please make sure to write that down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.